So you beat Dark Souls and you're thinking, alright, that was cool, but I didn't read any of the item descriptions, so I have no idea what's going on. Ergo, you hit up YouTube in an attempt to figure it out. Then you find this video. Good job, this is Dark Souls lore for dummies. Let us kick things off at the beginning. A long time ago there was a world made up of 3 things: trees, dragons, and nothing else. This was unacceptable, so one day somebody lit a fire, and with it came all the concepts we're used to: life and death, heat and cold, hunger and burgers. It was pretty much the Big Bang. Following this, some Duderinos found souls in the fire, which made them really extra. Gwyn, this guy, found the biggest soul. This being a Japanese game, you know he's the most powerful because he's A, really damn old, and B, he has the most massive hair. Prior to this Big Bang, there was no life and no death, which meant that somebody was going to be the first person to die, and that someone was Nito, who was, unfortunately, the first to get annihilated in the new world. As with death, so too went life. The Witch of Izalith was super into making life, so she made a bunch of daughters and invented the flamethrower. There was also a midget who found a soul unlike the others. Gwyn, Nito, and the Witch of Izalith all found big, shiny souls, whereas the midget found a unique, dark soul, Prepare to Die edition. The other 3, however, decided to mess dragons the heck up, possibly as revenge for one of them mistaking Nito for a Pop-Tart and toasting him. With the help of this albino plonker Seath, who betrayed the other dragons, Gwyn and co succeeded in wasting their rivals and establishing themselves as the top dogs and de facto rulers of the new world. And for a time, everything was fine, everything was good. But eventually, through much research, they figured out that flames don't last forever. A basic chemistry, a fire needs fuel to burn, else it'll gutter out. Whilst thinking up a solution to this problem, the Witch of Izalith went full retard and tried to replicate the Big Bang and make another first flame. She did succeed, if your measure for success is creating a race of uncontrollable demons, twisting your daughters into hentai monsters, and turning yourself into a weird peanut. Gwyn wasn't so hot on this new chaos flame, and took his knights to go fight it, making them all crispy in the process. Once he had pummeled the demons into submission, Gwyn decided the best way to extend the fire would be to feed his massive soul into it, using himself as fuel. Meanwhile, as the fire continued to fade in the human lands, people started getting nasty marks on their bodies, which they insisted were not STDs. Their claims were backed up by the fact they became undead, immortal in some ways, not typically a symptom of an STD. Deciding that, irrespective of it being an STD or not, it was pretty weird, and the other humans rounded up the undead and put them in prison. That's where the chosen undead, that's you, comes into play.
I'm the chosen undead, and I've been kidnapped.
Fortunately for the chosen undead, salvation was at hand.
I'm Knight of the Asylum, Oscar, and I'm here to save the day! Ugh, I'm done for.
Free from prison, the chosen undead took Oscar's healing energy drinks and left the asylum with the help of a big bird that may or may not have been the god of sin, who might have decided that the gods are in need of a good bursting for their hubris. Either way, the chosen undead arrives in Lordran and is told that he must discover the fate of the undead by ringing some bells.
There's a bell up there, and a bell down there. Ring them both, and maybe something will happen. Brilliant, isn't it?
Conniptions.
In the course of all this dong-ding, the chosen undead is like to meet with either Frampt or Karth, a pair of cheeky snake men with breath that could melt the gizzard of a wizard. Karth informs the chosen undead that linking the fire is for chumps, but that the chosen undead should still play the rest of the game so that they don't link the fire anyway? Frampt, on the other hand, says that linking the fire is great, and the chosen undead should gather up really big souls to burn as fuel, and that is definitely the fate of the undead. The chosen undead thinks it's a definite pain in the arse, but decides to go along with it, lacking anything better to do, and if nothing else, he's meeting a lot of colourful individuals along the way.
Be still, and trust thine flesh to me.
What's wrong with you?
Hey man, have you seen the Bell of Awakening? Hi?
You really are fond of chatting with me, aren't you? If I didn't know better, I'd think you were gay.
You saved me. I'll do anything to repay you. It's not much, but have this pyromancy flame, part of my very being. And take these keys to my Mustang. There's cash that I've been hiding from the taxman. And you should have this, my kidney. I know. But you did roll into a barrel I was trapped in. It's the least I can do, friend.
After finally finding and ringing the bells of awakening, this opened the way to the home of Lord Gwyn, the sunlight city of Anor Londo. But to reach Anor Londo, the chosen undead first had to brave Sen's fortress, an ancient proving grounds built by the gods. Or at least I think that's what he said?
Sen's fortress is an old proving grounds built by the ancient gods. It is the only route leading to the great Anor Londo. Of course, most fools can't even find their way into that fortified death trap. But they won't stop trying. Take that bumbling surrogate. Oi, where are you off to?
At last, the chosen undead made it to Anor Londo, the first in centuries to make it through Sen's fortress, to lay eyes upon the splendour of the gods.
It's tough being this beautiful. It's hard being so perfect.
Butchering their way through the city of the gods, the chosen undead proved they were the chosen undead. Why didn't they roll out the red carpet and immediately give the chosen undead the Lord Vessel? Well, you see, they had to test the chosen undead's willpower. Also, it's possible that all of the enemies were just illusions, or just assholes.
Oh, heretic, did you just assume my gender?
Meeting with the illusion of Gwyn's daughter Guinevere, the next part of the chosen undead's journey became clear. They must fill the ancient Lord Vessel with souls powerful enough to open the way to Gwyn, so they might link the fire, or not link the fire, but they still need to get there, just because reasons. But where to find these souls? Frampt and Karth had the answers. Grave Lord Nito, who slumbered deep beneath the world in the tomb of the giants. The Witch of Izalith, transformed into a creature more terrible than can be imagined, or evidently can be designed by FromSoft. As for the last two, all of the big shots were gone, so the chosen undead was left with no other option than to seek out the four kings, who held a fragment of Gwyn's mighty soul, and the Scaleless, who likewise had been given a fragment of that ultimate power. Thus began the second half of the chosen undead's journey, which felt a little bit rushed compared to the first. Maybe they ran out of time.
I'll just, give this a rub. Echo.
Peaceful.
No. Nope. What did I just say?
Dost thou not seeketh the grave of Sir Artorius? Wouldst thee truly caper to such fatuity and not but the jesterly gait of one who shatters the merriment of thine fellow stooges? I bid thee, take heed. The mythos of Artorius is no more than a forgery, most iniquitous, perjury of the highest persuasion. Thou wouldst be better served conjugating with mine own penumbra. Extirpate those interlopers who wouldst rapine this pulchritudinous verdigris corpse. Dost thee understand my meaning?
See ya!
With the great souls in hand, ready to make tribute, the chosen undead was all but ready to finish their pilgrimage, but was unable to overcome their obsession with touching things that frankly shouldn't be touched at all, a trait that his descendant, the Ashen One, would pick up an even more severe case of.
Oh my god! Echo.
In this DLC expansion, the Chosen Undead found themselves drawn into the past, ancient Ulusil and its surrounding royal woods, which look suspiciously like the Darkroot Garden. And during this adventure, the Chosen Undead encountered the majority of Gwyn's 4 knights. They had already fought the so-called Captain, Ornstein the Dragon Slayer, and now they chanced upon the others, including the much-fabled Abysswalker, Artorius, who had come to Ulusil in an attempt to stop the spread of the Abyss, but had merely succeeded in getting rabies instead. The Chosen Undead had slightly better luck with Lordsblade Kieran. Slightly.
But how?
And not to mention, Hawkeye Gough.
Very good.
Delving deeper into Ulusil, the Chosen Undead put down a fierce dragon with the help of Calamite. Wait, no, he put down Calamite. He put down a fierce Calamite with the help of Gough, and eventually found themselves face to face with the source of the Abyss, Manus, a dreadful primeval human. Manus, not Manus. Listen to how Gough says it. He says Manus. I'm not crazy. Had been awakened by the inhabitants of Ulusil and driven mad, raging for his lost pendant. He captured Princess Dusk and stuck her inside his body. Inexplicably, however, the Chosen Undead would go on to body Manus, even though the next 2 games wanked him and the Abyss to almost comical levels of power. Defeated, but not dead, Manus was dispersed by the Chosen Undead and turned into a bunch of girls. As you do. Turns out, Alvina had sort of been telling the truth. The legend of Artorius was a lie to some extent. Many of the feats attributed to Artorius were in fact performed by the Chosen Undead in his stead. Deciding that this was fine, the Chosen Undead returned to the present. He still had one thing left to do, after all.
Oh man, I can't wait to finally speak with Gwyn and see what he sounds like and what wisdom he has to pass on.
With Gwyn defeated, 2 paths lay open to the Chosen Undead. Use the powerful soul in their possession, built up over a journey of countless trials to link the fire and continue the Age of Fire. Or walk away, becoming the Dark Lord of humanity. Ultimately, it mattered little which ending the Chosen Undead went for this was but one link in a vast chain, and irrespective of which choice was made, the fire would continue to fade, surge, and fade again.
Anything that has a beginning also has an end. No flame, however brilliant, does not one day splutter and fade. But then, from the ashes, the flame reignites, and a new kingdom is born, sporting a new face. It is all a curse. And it is your cursed flesh that will inherit the flame.
Huh. I thought you were dead.
I was.